OC World is made possible by the generous contributions of the Marisla Foundation, the Keith and Judy Swain Family Foundation, Orange County Community Foundation, the University of California, Irvine, Socorro and Ernesto Vasquez Family Foundation, Crevier Family Foundation, and viewers like you. Thank you.
You could drive by 1505 East 17th Street in Santa Ana every day and never give it a second glance. It's a typical two-story office building, about 36,000 square feet of off-white concrete, red tile roofing, and shadows behind a modest side street parking lot. But step inside the open-air courtyard, and you'll find a vibrant cluster of nonprofit organizations that have been sharing space, resources, and purpose for 15 years. Welcome to The Village at 17th Street, Orange County's first multi-tenant center for nonprofit organizations. The concept didn't start as a real estate play or some sort of marketing facelift. In fact, it was in response to a deeper, persistent problem facing a lot of nonprofits across the country: how to stay in operation without spending too much money on overhead, chasing grants to pay rent, or working in isolation disconnected from peers. The idea took shape when Bill Podlick, co-founder and former CEO of Pacific Investment Management Company, PIMCO, an Orange County-based investment management firm, learned about a shared nonprofit center in Colorado. He saw it as worth replicating, or reimagining, for Orange County. Nothing flashy, but functional, durable, and well-designed from the inside out. He reached out to Warren Lordy, now retired CEO of WLA Investments and an architect by training. And together, they visited San Francisco, which has the Thoreau Center for Sustainability, one of the largest shared office centers for nonprofits. And then in 2010, with support from Orange County Community Foundation and Orange County Shared Spaces Foundation, the former El Patio building was purchased, not for speculation, but as a strategy. A deliberate investment in the nonprofit sector.
The Village all began with a phone call. A phone call made by Bill Podlick, who had been a long-serving board member of the Orange County Community Foundation. He was pretty energized about a tour he had just taken of a multi-tenant nonprofit center where nonprofits comprise all of the tenants. And they share staff and ideas, and it creates this great energy because they're all in this shared environment. This was 2007. Think about 2007. We didn't know then that a year later we were going to be in the Great Recession. So in 2007, rents were expensive, and especially in Orange County, nonprofits are very vulnerable to the high cost of rent, or when their current lease expires, they have to renegotiate, and now their rent jumped 50% or something with a market adjustment, and they can't afford it, so they have to move, which is costly in time and money. So it was a big vulnerability for nonprofits. So when Bill said, do we have anything like this in Orange County? I said, we don't, but we sure need something like that, because nonprofits here are competing for space and they're really at a disadvantage.
I somehow ended up in a place that was called a multi-tenant nonprofit center. And it was an old school, and so the city had taken those classrooms and turned them into spaces for nonprofits. And I thought, man, that's a really cool idea. We should do that in Orange County. So I started looking into the whole field. I came back here, went to see Shelley Haas, told her I had this idea. She liked the idea. We had various people that got involved. Warren came on pretty early in the process. We knew it needed to be centrally located. The Community Foundation did a survey of a couple hundred nonprofits in Orange County, inquiring about their interests, and We looked at that data, and so then we started to circle around.
And they began looking all over Orange County for where would be the best place to have this kind of a building, and realized, oh, there's already a lot of nonprofits sort of along 17th Street or 4th Street in that Santa Ana Tustin area. They started literally driving around looking for buildings, and they came upon the very famous local building that was called previously El Patio, because it's a courtyard, this Spanish architecture, open courtyard, very unique design, a building in some disrepair and was had a high vacancy rate. And they tracked down the owner, and it was not on the market, but it was only at 60% occupancy.
Warren and the real estate broker he brought into the mix found this building, and it couldn't have been better designed for what we really want to do here. I mean, it's just the perfect place for people that want to know their neighbors, so to speak, which is what we want to happen here.
By the time we made the offer on the building, it was 2009. We were well into the Great Recession. Building values were depressed, and there was some receptivity. Bill and Warren reached out, made an offer, and we went into escrow in January of 2010 to purchase El Patio, which became renamed as the Village at 17th.
So I put a down payment on it. We just thought it was perfect for what we wanted to do. The name just fell out of the hat, right? It's a village, and we treat it like a village. It takes all the different people that are here to run it, to make it work, and it's been just a phenomenal experience for me.
The move-ins started exactly 15 years ago, June 2010, when we finished all the renovations. A lot of philanthropic support poured in. We wanted to charge the minimal amount of rent we could that would still make the building self-sustaining. So we raised $1 million in philanthropic capital to bring the building up to standard, to refresh it and make it a really welcoming space for nonprofits to come and make their home.
We had to reinstall the elevators and its controls because they had passed all these new laws. We had to bring it up to code. It took about 5 years before we completed all those things, like the special handrails on the stairs. We had to redo the landscaping in this area to make it function better for group usage. And if you come out at lunchtime on a normal day, you'll see 15 people here having lunch. They're intermingling. They're all in the same business.
Being a tenant of the Village has helped us access shared spaces. We're able to host large trainings for our workforce. We're able to host board meetings, community meetings, and that allows us to do more engaging, and really, in the end, increases our ability to impact the community with the work that we do. When you walk through the Village gate, you're welcomed by any one of the nonprofits that serve here. A lot of us provide different services, and so I think once you get connected with one, we're able to very easily refer out to others, and it's a really safe space, an open space, and a great way to engage the community.
In cities across the United States, a growing number of nonprofit organizations are turning to shared workspaces as a cost-effective alternative to traditional office leases. These environments provide more than just desks and Wi-Fi. They also help foster collaboration, reduce overhead, and intentionally align space with nonprofit values such as community engagement and resource efficiency, along with the necessary training, legal and HR support services, and even pooled administrative staff.
What's been really great about coming here to the Village, it's centrally located in Orange County. Everyone knows this area.
We had several options, and the Village was one that was the most appealing and made the most sense for what we do out in the community and what the others here in this building, which is serving the community, the families.
It's been great seeing just the overall turnout and participation from tenants at our gatherings and trainings. We've had tons of different trainings on topics affecting the nonprofit sector, including donor relations, information technology, capacity building, and it's really something that we take pride in.
People's attitudes are positive, helpful, And that goes clear to the point of the tenant improvements. When we were getting ready to move in, there was every effort made to make our space work exactly the way that would be best for us. The fact that it's a small enough building that we all can get to know each other and that we can take advantage of shared opportunities is a huge plus. I think the best thing about being at the Village is the sense of community that's here. Nonprofits share a lot of things in common. And when you're in a group with other people with common issues like funding and things like that, and to have a place where you can actually talk to people.
We're all in it to make Orange County a better place, and so getting to know them, getting to know their mission, and then just helping each other and collaborating on these projects.
Today, the Village at 17th Street houses roughly 30-plus nonprofit tenants who receive below-market rent, access to shared professional facilities, and on-site programming support that, when combined together, reduce overhead and, when the chemistry is right, help build collaborative partnerships to solve shared community problems. The model is as practical as it is strategic, allowing organizations to focus less on infrastructure and more on mission. At the 15th year anniversary of the Village, Podlick read from a letter he had written in 2009 about his vision.
We want a welcoming environment designed to encourage interaction and collaboration through shared administrative resources, meeting spaces, and amenities. We want a culture that fosters community, leading to the sharing of new ideas and best practices. We want great visibility for our tenants in the community and among funders who might visit the building. And finally, our tenants should receive the emotional and practical support of working in close proximity to colleagues who know the challenges and the joys of serving others. And I think that that is something that we, in fact, achieved here at this Village.
The Village at 17th Street now houses a mix of organizations working on issues such as education, health access, immigration, and environmental justice. This can lead to joint grant proposals, integrated services, or even formal partnerships. The building features a 2,500 square foot conference center, shared training rooms, and community events that include lunch and learn sessions that the nonprofits don't have to include in their square footage, which helps keep their rent affordable.
The Village has a really diverse tenant community. Nonprofits like CASA of Orange County was one of our anchor tenants. We've had really long, well-established nonprofits. And then we also have teeny tiny startup grassroots that they need, one little small office with a desk and a place to receive mail. So we have the full spectrum for scores of local grassroots startup nonprofits. It really is full service from the tenderest, earliest grassroots to very long established nonprofits.
Here in Orange County, especially areas like Santa Ana, parts of Anaheim, and Westminster, access to healthcare remains a significant challenge for many residents. Community Health Initiative of Orange County, a local nonprofit and tenant of the Village at 17th Street, helps members of underserved communities navigate the complex healthcare system, providing outreach for new enrollment and renewal assistance for programs like Medi-Cal and Covered California. CHEOC also focuses on follow-up and retention services to ensure families maintain their coverage and connect with necessary resources, like food and cash assistance.
We have been around as an organization for about 20 years now, and we were founded by a public-private partnership in the county when there was a significant amount of uninsured individuals in the early 2000s. And there was an initiative, a statewide initiative, it's called Healthy Families. And so with that in mind, St. Joseph Hospital actually is one of our founding funders, along with the Health Funders Partnership of Orange County, where they came together with private organizations such as Kaiser and others to fill the gap in this county and build this, what was at one point a program under the Health Funders Partnership of Orange County, and then it eventually became a nonprofit organization in 2014.
Of course, shared nonprofit centers vary widely in focus and format. Though metropolitan hubs dominate, Smaller cities and suburban areas are increasingly developing shared spaces, along with the support of local philanthropy and nonprofit networks. And according to a 2023 study, using shared nonprofit workspaces report an average savings of 20 to 30% in occupancy costs compared to standard commercial leases. That financial margin can translate directly into expanded programming or staff retention. During the early years of the village at 17th Street, in the hushed cradle of stone and sun of the open-air courtyard, once stood a magnificent 50-year-old ficus tree that threaded itself through the center of the hacienda-style courtyard, offering shade and respite, early evening brainstorming sessions, and quiet moments of burnout and breakthrough. It was rooted, dependable, ever-present. In many ways, it symbolized what the village was trying to be: a living, central structure around which nonprofit life could thrive and grow.
We really felt like the tree was like the heart of the village. And then a terrible thing happened. There was a landscaping service that was contracted to come in and just do tree trimming, and somehow there was a mix-up, and they came in on a Saturday when no one was here. They literally plucked it out, ground the stump down, and Ann Olin, the leader of Charitable Ventures, came in Monday morning to this literal gaping hole in the heart of the village and just immediately burst into tears because it was such a meaningful gathering place. They put in some teeny tiny spindly little tree to replace it, and I was not having it. I wrote a very forthright letter to the head of the landscaping company and basically said, this does not even come close to making this right, and we need to have a restitution for this, sort of gutting literally of the heart of the village. The head of Park West Landscaping was amazing, immediately reached out and redid at their own expense, replanted, did new hardscape, and brought in the shade sails that we have now that allow this to be shaded and useful, because it gets a lot of direct sun without any shading. To me, that story really reflects the identity of the village, which is we can go through hardships, and this village community in 15 years has seen many cycles of hardship. We are in a cycle of hardship right now for many of the frontline nonprofits that are working with our immigrant communities, that are working with our most vulnerable who are under threat. But the heart of this village is in people coming together and making something more beautiful even out of times of loss or grief or an injustice.
Though the ficus tree no longer stands in the courtyard of the village at 17th Street, its roots still run deep through the nonprofit work that endures.
The best part is that we get to work in collaboration with all the other neighbors as well, and just try to be innovative and figure out what else can we do, right, to reach all of the community. We all have our specialties, but how can we come together and make it even better? You never know when you need each other, whether it's work related or just, just need a friend.
You can see from the way we've set up our event here today that it's very conducive to the outdoor lifestyle and socialization that Pacific Islanders enjoy. We have many stations that are going on behind us with different activities. And so this is very conducive for our lifestyle and the way we work with our community. We're not used to going to somebody's office and having a sit down across the desk with chairs. We want to be outdoors and have our conversations in our settings outdoors. So this offers us the perfect setting for all of that. And we've also been able to partner with different organizations in here to help boost our capacity and build different programs that we have going on.
Over the years, being a part of the village has actually increased in benefits, because not only is there more nonprofits that have come into the village, but we also have experienced reduced costs in general. I think the rent has been maintained. In actuality, it's actually under market at this time. And so that's a really great benefit to nonprofits whose budgets are to the penny, and we're looking to reduce costs where we can.
The greatest part about it is true partnership. Not only are you in close proximity on this land, in this space, but whenever any other org has an event or has trainings that would benefit our community, it's open to everyone. That's a true partnership of being here in the village, is that we have access to a multitude of resources that we can tap into, and that we know personally that if there's a need and it's urgent, we can reach that person by just simply walking next door, walking upstairs. That's what the village does for us, yeah.
The clients that we serve have a lot of times transportation issues. We have a bus stop right across the way. And because of the numerous organizations that are housed here within the village, we create referral sources and partnerships and deepen those partnerships. For example, First Five, not only are we able to enroll their clients they serve, the 0 to 5, but they're also a funder. So that's an added value benefit in being in this building. Now, another big component of being in the building is if you're having a sit down in the courtyard, you're either on a break or you're having a meeting with a teammate or anyone with a partner, you run into people because it is a significant hub of nonprofits, and many consultants, funders, the array of nonprofit investors walk through these doors, and you're able to connect with them. Maybe they didn't respond to your email right away, and they get to see you and they're reminded like, oh, I owe you a response. And so that, I would say, that is one of the biggest benefits of being housed here, because it's like a one-stop shop. You can push your mission of the organization, create a partnership, raise some dollars, and also connect with a consultant that may need to fill a gap within your agency. So it's a pretty robust approach to how you maximize being part of the village. We've had open houses. We've hosted open houses within the courtyard, and we receive a lot of compliments on how inviting it is, the lighting, the music. And it's simply, I mean, if you look at the building, yes, it is old, but it's picturesque for me. And people love that. It's quaint, it's warm and inviting. And also, not only is it the individuals and the organizations that are housed here, but it also is appealing to our community who comes to visit, to conduct an enrollment, to receive any type of education or even there is a business housed here still, and some community members come and get a haircut. We have Project Kinship and many other organizations where we continue to partner. And so it makes it an inviting location where it's, again, a one-stop shop.
First Five Orange County is a nonprofit organization working to ensure that every young child in the region begins kindergarten healthy and ready to learn. The agency supports children from birth to age 5 by funding programs that promote health, early learning, and family stability, with an emphasis on serving those most in need. Over time, CHEOC has built a strong working relationship with First Five, supported in part by their shared workspace at the Village at 17th Street.
Collaboration came before we were in the building, and it's strengthened once you're in the building because you see the CEO, which is Kim Gall. You run into their program managers, their vice presidents of government affairs, and you're able to connect on a deeper level when you run into these individuals in the halls and you have a question or something. Or they'll remind me, Georgina, you need to sign that contract. And I say, oh, very good. Thank you for the reminder. And so that deepens the relationship. When it comes to that, it deepens the trust in the community. And a lot of times what happens when you're in the building, you are top of mind for any type of collaboration, for any type of health access issue that they're having. The policies that are now being rolled out as part of the new legislation that has been signed, you're able to connect on a more immediate level versus having to schedule a meeting. If you're simply walking around the building, it's like, hey, can you get on a quick phone call or can we meet outside?
As funding grows tighter and community needs expand, shared workspaces like the Village at 17th Street offer more than just physical presence. Instead, it's about structure, stability, and support. It allows nonprofit organizations to worry a little less about walls and square footage and more about service and impact to the community. Nationally, the Village fits into a growing map of nonprofit hubs, but locally, it reflects the specific mix of ingenuity and philanthropy that defines Orange County's approach to community building.
To me, the Village has never been about a building. It's been about a reflection of what is already inherently so strong about Orange County nonprofits, which is their resilience, their ability to share their missions and their hearts. Sometimes people think that nonprofits compete more than they cooperate, and that is patently a myth. Nonprofits do more energetic, complicated, complex, and successful collaboration than any other entity that exists. But there is a place here at the Village where they get to meet in the hallways and as they're walking in with their coffee in the morning, about to go about their good work. And then that is elevated because of this shared community and space. To me, that is the heart of the Village and why it's so important to Orange County. My hope for the Village is that these 15 years are just the beginning of its impact in Orange County. There have been untold stories of organizations that have flourished here, that have made new connections, made new relationships, used this as a launching point. There are so many stories that have been sort of born and nurtured here at the Village, and my hope is that that continues to grow over the next 15 years and the 15 years after that, and that this Village will be here in the heart of Santa Ana, which is the heart of Orange County, and that this building truly reflects the heart of our nonprofit sector, and will be here as long as we're needed to be a shared, loving space and community for our local nonprofits that will be here to answer that call.
I'm looking for help. I have 3 young kids and it's just me. I'm working 2 jobs on the night shift and I'm still not making enough. The electric bill came today, and if I pay it, there won't be anything left for groceries.
So we had to use our savings to pay for hospital bills because we both lost our health insurance. I've never had to ask anyone for help, but I don't know if we'll be able to afford his medicine this month.
I put in application after application, but no one seems to want to hire me. I'm living out of my car. I can't keep going like this. I don't know where to turn for help.